Yeah. Oh well.
We rock.
I guess so. Well done, Lex. As usual, I'm just watching you and aghast.
You know, the funny thing is, I tried to do that walk around with my socks on. Did you see that? I got no traction whatsoever. Just sat there spinning. But anyway,
that was before friction was invented.
Was that what that was?
I think so. Welcome to PDQ A, everybody. Let's basically just throw down. It's
Stump the
we
chumps
usually
if
do
you
this
can,
on
yeah.
Patch Tuesday a week.
Because it's busy.
Because that way we don't have to really plan anything. Anyway, that's how much
to work really hard.
That's how much we care.
We're honest.
So throw down your questions and let's do it.
Dear Shane and Lex, when will the scan step be available in deploy? Thanks, Federico De.
Hey, Federico, it's going to be in deploy 17. Let's go ahead and say
that was pretty straight up there.
The next version of deploy. The next version of deploy. I know. We're integrating the agent.
Okay, so the scan step, what's that exactly going to do?
Well, if you come over, I'll just create a new package real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I just double clicked on that button. My God, starting off great.
Old habit.
You'll see when you create a package, you have all these different steps. You know, your install, your command, everything from reboot, file copy, etc. There's going to be a scan step, and it's been requested for a while. There's kind of roundabout ways that you can initiate a scan, but we just thought we'd make a native step. Yeah,
call it,
because we're getting, you know, a lot of you use very complex steps, and you want to have a scan that
gets
runs
the most current data. Yeah.
At that point, and it really makes it great. Thank you. It really makes it beneficial with the new collection, conditions that you
Absolutely.
have. So you might install something and then want to have that represented as being installed because of a collection condition for a subsequent nested package or something. So deploy 17 is when that's going to be out there. Any other questions?
What else we got?
We're done.
Yeah, that's the show.
See you later.
Thanks for joining us. Dear Shane and Lex, what is the best way to purge the file and directory scan results for all computers? For example, say I ran a scan that I only needed once and create a new scan. The file and directory page will always show the results from both scans, which crowds out the relevant or recent scan. Thanks, Valerie B.
Hey, Valerie.
Hey, Valerie.
I just pulled up our file and directory scanners here, and last week Brig and I did one on a desktop, and then I did one here for a text file and a user's directory. Now, the great thing, once you scan these, I'm just going to minimize this because we need to go back to it. Or go in, let's say, take a look at Beth here.
Okay.
Or maybe not.
Yeah, you got to close that.
I actually got to.
It is a modal window.
Learned something
Welcome to
new
PDQ.
today. Wow. Okay, so you can see the name of the scanner.
So you're saying you've got some old scans.
I've got, I need to get rid of that desktop scan because I really don't need it at this point.
Number one, if you still want to have that data, you just need to make a decision based off of the other data. Don't forget to use your filters.
Absolutely.
You've got your filters, you've got your advanced filters. But if you want to get rid of it, the best way to do it, if that data still exists, you can't just do a new scan with that scan profile because that data still is there. Basically, you need to delete the scanner from whence it came. So that includes that means you can either delete the scanner or you can delete the scan profile that it lives in. Either one, once you delete it, it will remove that data. Now, if that data is still there after you delete it, that means you've got another scan profile that has a similar scanner that scanned information. You can always find out, let's go back into Beth here. You can always find out, looking at the file and directory, I'm going to scroll over, you can find out which scan profile that came from. And if there's multiple scan profiles, you'll see multiple scan profiles listed there. So if you want to get rid of the stuff that was in the Brig desktop, either delete that scanner or delete the Brig desktop scan profile, and it will subsequently remove that data.
Yep.
That's how you do it. That's if you don't want that data anymore.
Yeah, and if you delete it, the data is gone.
There are times you just need to grab information for like a one-time
run, yeah.
Yeah, and then at that point it can just become noise.
Dear Shane and Lex,
I should say you could also just go and delete those files and then run the scan again. That's probably not what you want to do.
Delete all the desktops, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Brig. Sorry, Kelly. Us in Briggs.
As I was saying, as we anxiously await Deploy's integration with the agent, is there a way to create a collection that only shows those systems who are online internally? Basically, I want to recreate your collections that have old software and add agent status as internal to help clean up the amount of failures that I'm getting because of systems being online but are remote. Thanks, Jeremy. Oh.
That are only online internally. Well, obviously we have an online system, online systems collection, but if you wanted to modify that or duplicate another one, computer online is true. Yeah, sorry about that. Let's center that. And let's come over. Where is...
So while you're running that, there is a new entry made for agent that says with external internal. So if you had online is true and agent is internal, I think we'd get what you're looking for.
That was the status?
Yep.
The status is internal, but what if they want to find internal? Basically what I would do is agent status is not external, because they might want to show machines that don't have an agent. They might only have agents on their they might only have agents like on laptops or something like that.
Yeah.
And so they want to show online machines, and if they have the agent, show them if they're internal. So you could do agent status is not like external or something like that. Yeah. That way it would still show internal and it would show null. Right, guys? Am I right? Or am I smoking crack?
I'm not sure if it's no. It is empty, so I guess no would make sense.
Okay, that's. Hey. I wasn't not sure if everything has an agent, then you can do what Jordan had mentioned, and thank you very much for mentioning that. That you can use the agent table, but if you have a mixture of agent and non-agent, then do the is not external. That should take care of it for you.
You ever heard that saying? Nothing's something, but null is actually nothing. You heard that before, haven't you?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. Jordan?
It's actually the first I heard it, but I like it.
Yeah, null is different from
nothing.
Blank.
Yeah.
Blank is still something.
Blank is something.
Yeah.
Nothing's something. Null is actually nothing. Yeah.
Some philosophy.
Let's get existential here. Welcome to the PDQ A.
Oh, great, Shane and Lex. Is the inventory agent available to download outside of the console for remote company devices that are not domain joined? Thanks, Carrie O.
I've never heard great and Lex in the same sentence. You want to?
I have. Oh, great.
Great. Lex. Someone invited him. Great.
Way to dump on my point. Do you want to answer this one, Jordan?
Yes. So if it is an offline computer using, there is a manual installer, and you can generate a file for that one.
They just need to have the configuration file.
Yeah, that tells it how to connect, and then you have to have the proper ports open. But then it should work just fine.
Now, is there an agent installer they can pull from the internet? Do we have a link for that? I'm just wondering.
Do we have that? I don't think we do.
I don't believe so, but if I'm wrong, Colby will be in the chat.
Yeah, Colby will be popping it up there.
Watch.
You'll need to provide them if they are not domain joined or they're out. They're not going to come into the office where you can control it for a moment. Then you can provide them with the agent install and a configuration file, but that does require that it's installed with administrative privileges.
Yeah.
So.
I did do a video on that, guys, so you can check the video.
Okay, and there's also an agent question and answer that you can look at.
Katie did a great job on that, yeah.
Next question.
Dear Shane and Lex, best practices are to tag your name in the description field, but stuff happens and we have a ton of new reports. Is there any way to tell who created those reports? Also, in Deploy, is there a way to tell who created a package and when? If they forgot to tag it, I won't name names. Tiffany G.
Okay, so I see what you're saying. When I saw tag your name in the description field, I was thinking like the AD description, put the name of the user. But now I'm seeing that they're talking about...
It's kind of like when I make a package and I never name it, and you got like new package 1, new package 2 kind of a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as far as reports, I don't believe we even track that on reports. So. On packages, anything you want to add to that there, Jordan?
Oh, no, I was going to say the same thing. So for packages and schedules, those are associated if you have enterprise based on the console user, but I don't know if reports are.
I don't think we've hit it in reports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So packages and subsequent schedules of those, you should be able to find that. But I don't even think we track that.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea. Somebody capture that.
Dear Shane and Lex, can an agent installer package be added to the package library? Thanks, Scott S.
Can or should it be?
We're not going to add one to the package library at this point, only because there's there's things that are specific, I think.
Yeah.
But there's certainly ways to most of our customers that use the agent have built, or many of them, I should say, enough that I would mention it. A plurality have created a package to deploy the agent, but I don't foresee us adding one to the package library.
So, and the reason, here's the thing, right? Do you need the generic config, or do you need the specific config to that machine? So, I mean, there are some things that are involved with that. So, just putting one out there kind of makes it.
Yeah, here's the agent installer.config that you can find on your on your console or on your server.
And in this case, that would work with a machine that's actually been scanned before. If you were to send that to a machine that has not been scanned, that wouldn't work. Jordan, what do you think, man?
Well, I was just kind of changing gears just because I mentioned if I was wrong on something, Colby would type in. But for the people that are watching after, we do have an online installer, but it is version specific. I just wanted to make it everyone can get that info.
Okay.
I know we made it so that you didn't always have to have a custom configuration file. That was a big one, but I don't know. We'll talk about it and see if it makes sense to add something like that to the package library. Next question.
Dear Shane and Lex, is there a way to kick off idle or stuck licensed users in PDQ Inventory and deploy? Every now and then someone has to leave and forgets to close the programs, thus holding on to the license. Thanks, Ryan J.
Reboot package. Boom! Hit them hard. That's what I do. Shane is using this?
So they're well. I mean, every person that uses it should have their own individual license.
Absolutely.
So if you've got 3 users that use it,
you should have licenses for all 3.
And one of them leaves it, and another person needs it, and that other person does need their own license.
This wouldn't happen if you have licenses for all of them. Is that
effectively? But let's say that you need to log on to another. You have enough licenses, but you need to log on to another system. What you're going to want to do is have somebody. You could have somebody send a remote command to kill the console.
Task kill it. Yeah.
Do a kill on that.
I still think reboot's better.
Kill the console. You need to do it remotely. You can do that. You can do that with you can do that with a tool if you want. But obviously, somebody else that does have a session open will need to do it. We just ask that you get the right number of licenses.
Yeah.
We're low priced, and we'll still stand up against the competition any day on cost.
I'm not sure if they're using it with CLI of killing the console, because then it just has a timeout period. You may just have to wait the 30 minutes until the timeout for the CLI version of their usage.
I'm talking about somebody else, somebody like I need it. I can reach out to you who has a console open, and you can do it, and it should work because you killed the console.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Dear Shane and Lex, are the PDQ inventory and deploy console command line commands documented anywhere? Diedrich K.
They're certainly documented in a usage statement. So if you come out to, let's open up, I'm going to go to just to deploy and open an elevated command prompt. And by doing so, it actually takes us to the program files where this is
resides.
running. Now, we're doing this from the server. This is not going to work from if you're running this from a console.
Client, yeah.
But anyway, all you got to do is run PDQ deploy, and you'll see a usage statement there. And then you could do like PDQ deploy help for more information, or PDQ deploy, and you'll get the usage. Like, okay, so what do you want to deploy? Here's the parameters. Do we have this in the documentation? Actually, I don't know.
That's a Colby question.
Yeah.
Colby?
But the usage statement will give you all the information that you need. Honestly, I mean, it's fairly straightforward.
Dear Shane and Lex, is there a way to tell if a DVD drive has been used on a computer for the last several months? Not present, but actually used. William Billy Z.
Certainly not natively in our program. There might be something in WMI that shows when it was last
that'd be a tough
initialized
one
or
to
something.
find, yeah.
I don't know, but you'd want to look in WMI.
Yeah.
We do have a WMI scanner. That might.
You might be able to find something there, but I think it's a long shot, honestly.
Yeah, me too. It's not something that we would, track natively for sure.
I suppose you could see if there was media mounted in it or not, but that's not really if it's used, just if there's a CD in
Yeah,
there.
it's just if something's been mounted.
Yeah.
Oh, great, Shane and Lex. My PDQ Inventory version 14R3 seems to have discovered all my computers by name and by IP. So I now have twice as many computers in inventory. How do I clean it up and prevent this in the future? Thanks, Chad B.
Really? Have you heard of that one before? Number one, upgrade your.
Upgrade.
You're 2 versions behind, Chad. So recommend that. But wow. So you probably have some network discovery. So Lex just opened up the Active Directory where you're importing this way. But I'm going to say that you've probably got you've added computers from network discovery, and
You just ran the IP address range, and if it answered a
I
thing,
have not seen that. Has anybody seen that?
I've never run into it with any of my testing. I haven't seen any other customer tickets for it, so it seems to be pretty unique, but I'll be interested to see if we can track it down.
Okay. So yeah, I would say that would most likely be an issue if they're running network discovery and AD sync at the max. But that seems odd to me. That does seem odd. That doesn't seem to be working right. But in order to get support on that, you would need to get up to the latest version.
Now, the other thing you could do to find out where it got added from is go to added from right here and add that. And just pop that guy up to the front. You can see where it got added from. So all ours have been added from AD Sync. You'd be able to see where it was added
Okay.
from, at least give you an idea of where it came from.
Mm-hmm. And then if they're all AD sync, then there's
Something interesting
That would be
going
what
on.
I call a bug.
Upgrade.
But definitely upgrade. But maybe delete the ones that didn't come from AD sync if you can. And if they keep on popping up, let us know, please. Seriously, it's news to us.
Hey there, Shane and Lex. I have some scheduled packages in deploy that will not kick off on Heartbeat. Anything obvious I'm missing? Jason S.
Well, one thing I would look at, Jason, is remember the Heartbeat goes off of. Go back. Let's show the screen here. It goes off of the online status. The agent really does help resolve this if you do use the agent, but the online status is generally grabbed via the Heartbeat process, which by default runs every 300 seconds. You may have modified that if you have thousands of computers and you've increased it, but let's just go with the default 5 minutes. We'll ping Alan, Rails, and Beth every 5 minutes to see if they're online. If they respond within 2 seconds, yes, they are online. Now, if that machine gets rebooted in that 5 minute window and comes back online, according to inventory, the online status, that status never changed. It never saw that was offline. The Heartbeat only gets triggered when the status of a computer and the online status goes from offline to online. So a reboot, I'm thinking you're probably looking at a reboot or a machine that went off and on in that window. According to the online status, it didn't change. So the agent, once again, does resolve this because the agent grabs
Start and stop.
events for boot up and agent start and stop and stuff like that. So you'll get a little bit more accurate reading on your online offline status. That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
It's also the checkbox that says don't redeploy if it was successful, if it's something they're running more than once.
It's a very good point. Thank you. Thanks for bringing that up. What Jordan just mentioned is, this is if you're talking about a schedule. So you create a new schedule, and in this schedule, you've got your targets, etc. But go ahead.
Right here?
Yeah, this is a.
Okay, right there. Apparently I didn't get that working. But this
Stop.
guy
Yeah,
right
stop deploying the targets once they succeed. Sometimes people will check that, and the next time that works pretty well if you're saying, hey, deploy this application via a schedule, and that application gets installed. You don't want that to kick off. Maybe you've got that scheduled to run every Saturday. Where you want that unchecked is if you're doing something
like a maintenance reboot or something.
Yeah, or maintenance reboot, or you just say, I want to run an uninstall for any of these applications that might exist, and I just want that run on all these targets every time. You want to uncheck that. So that's a good point. Thank you, Jordan.
Dear Shane and Lex, last week you showed scheduled deployments using conditions on either the schedule or the package, and mentioned that when a library package is updated, it will clear out the target history. Could nested packages accomplish the same task? Are there any pitfalls? Thanks, Dominic. Not so great at selfies. C.
Hey, Dominic.
It's making fun of you.
You're awesome, brother. Okay. Yes, they are. Once again, we're talking about the schedules. It's, when you have a, say, Google Chrome, version 61, and it goes to 62, you've got that 61 attached to a schedule, and then that gets replaced with 62. Yes, then the target history effectively it's not necessarily reset, as we're only using the target history for that next version. And if you're talking about nested packages, the target history is only available in schedules, and that should still apply.
So I guess if you're talking like a nested package, you're doing like Firefox and then Flash for Firefox, right? And you deploy that, and you're going to have history showing that we'll call it the baseline. It's going to be at the package level, right? So if the new Firefox comes out, it's not going to reset the baseline history, right? Because the history is off the package, not. So instead of doing a nested package, maybe you put in add each individual package to the schedule, because then as the packages on the schedule.
I think we got to take a drink. We
got stumped there.
Cheers. Cool. I'm not sure. That's fine. Let's have somebody find that out, because now I'm thinking that nested package in a schedule, that nested package is the one that's in the schedule. That main package, if that doesn't get changed, but a nested one does,
it's not going to show the history change.
Yeah, that may not.
Yeah,
I'll bet Colby would know. If he finds out, we'll add something to the bonus content for those that are watching.
Done got stumped today.
Yeah, boy, I hadn't thought of that one. Good question. Thanks, Dominic.
Hey there, Shane and Lex. Do all console users see tools created by other users when not using the central server? Thanks, Valerie B.
No, central server is required for that, unless you've exported and imported. You can export and import tools, but did we ever have that in sharing? Before sharing got superseded by the server, central server.
I don't think tools ever made it to sharing.
Okay, no. The short answer, Valerie, is no. Every time I see Valerie's name, I think of that song. Every single time,
Which song is that?
From Steve Perry, isn't it? Or Steve Winwood? Yeah, Valerie.
Really?
Which one did Steve Perry sing? Did he?
Sherry.
Sherry.
Oh, Sherry. And then Amanda was Boston.
Yes.
Yeah, anyway. Hi, Valerie. Thank you. We had to go to our old DJ there to get that one, to pull that 80s gem out. No, they're not going to see him. Central server would resolve that.
Dear Shane and Lex, is there a way to run a report of log-on, log-off events from the agent? Thanks, David R.
There should be, because we're capturing that information.
Yeah.
It's going to be under the agent
table. Yeah.
Would it be under the agent table? Did we capture that in the reports?
The agent table would have all the log on and log off. If you weren't using agent, you could probably.
Well, they specifically mentioned agent.
Oh,
so.
then yeah, it should be in there.
They actually use the pronoun agent.
Oh, I can read.
They actually use last seen.
So with the agent, it's built into the agent table on the computer window when you open it.
There you go. So the answer is
we had a last seen. So
are we sure? Let's go. Let's take a peek at it. Let's dig in a little bit more.
Status.
That's a good point. Maybe. Does anybody know that one?
So are you just looking at the table there, or
pull that question back up? I hear Kelly's groan.
Oh, shoot.
It's gone.
So I can't see the screen you guys have. Are you only looking on the main table, or are you actually double clicking to open up the computer?
Ooh, you know what?
No, the question was a report. You know, you can look at a computer.
Do a SQL report to pull that. I wonder if that's in the table, but you got to do a
Oh,
SQL
we got to
report to
have
grab
an
that.
agent. We got to have an agent one. I'm not sure which one.
Agent Beth.
So
and
here,
Else, yeah.
this is not in question. You can look at it from this.
Mm-hmm.
But have we exposed that information in the reports, to be able to see the event?
And Colby in the chat said that is something he has tested, and SQL report is how he did it.
Okay,
SQL
so
report,
so we don't expose the event in the basic report builder, but you'll need to use the SQL reports to do that. We should add that. I want to find out why the event is not exposed in the agent table. I mean, it does definitely create a one-to-many relationship, because
That's true.
it'll only have one
Computer, but
one
it can
current
have-
status and the computer. So there could be some gotchas there, but because there's going to be multiple events.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's take a peek at that. Let's dig in. But for right now, you can use SQL. Thank you, Colby.
Dear Shane and Lex, I often run into deployments that fail with an MSI error 1603, which I understand usually means msiexec is already in use. I have a task kill step before my deployments to try to mitigate that, but it often happens at other steps in the same package. Any best practices I'm missing? Thanks, Ryan J.
I believe it's 1605 that is. Am I wrong? 1605, I
MSI
think,
is already
is the
used.
MSI. 1603 is a fatal error.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the most frustrating ones, because while some of them are msiexec is already being used, it's very specific. 1603 means a fatal error occurred and we had to dump. Now, I wouldn't recommend just killing msiexec when you see 1603. 1603. A fatal error often occurs when there's something like a file didn't exist, but it was required that it did exist. Like, I'm expecting to see this. An example where you could get a 1603 is if you run a setup exe and there's a slew of support files, installation files that are part of that, and those files don't exist. For example, when you do in deploy, you can usually duplicate this fairly easily, and this is a common one. You have an install step, and you choose an exe,
installer,
but you don't include the entire directory, and there are files that are needed,
required.
or you don't add those additional files. You'll usually get a 1603 because something didn't exist that was expecting, or the reverse of that is something existed and it wasn't supposed to exist. It's just a fatal error. It's 1603 has been called the dumpster.
Yeah, catch all of errors.
Because all we know is a fatal error occurred, but we don't know what. That's where if it's an MSI, the logs are very important, because you can say, oh, it looks like
This is where it got stuck.
it says it couldn't find this file, or antivirus solutions, anti-malware solutions often will do that. You'll
Snatch
pull
the files
a
you need,
deployment
yeah.
down there to a target. The install files go in to the Windows, admin arsenal directory, and it starts to kick off, but sees, oh, maybe you don't have an exception, and deletes all those files except for the one that's currently in use. You'll get a 1603.
Yeah.
Dear Shane and Lex, we use Inventory Agent on all of our endpoints. At least 10% of our online machines will periodically report an agent status of unavailable. There does not seem to be a consistent cause for this, and reinstalling the agent does cause it to immediately change status to internal. Is this a bug, or are we misunderstanding the meaning of the unavailable status? Thanks in advance, Tyler P.
I know the latest point release, I'd like to know what version you're running. The latest point release did resolve a lot of the unavailable errors, but there might be some more out there. Be important for us to know which version you're running. You want to at least have release 3, because I know that did hit it. But I mean, we introduced this. We introduced this in 16.1, and 2 and 3 have resolved a lot of agent issues. Obviously, more keep coming because it's a brand new feature.
Yep.
But
So
Send some details in. Support can help.
definitely, if he is on 3 and getting those, then we want to know as soon as possible, because that's something we've been trying to eliminate pretty aggressively.
yeah, and there have been quite a few of those bugs that have been resolved, but I definitely haven't hit all of them.
Squash
Tyler, please
Yeah.
make sure you're running 16.3, and if you are, contact our support and let them help diagnose that so we can get it fixed.
Dear Shane and Lex, in Inventory, you can display memory, CPU, OS, and pretty much any detail about a computer in the columns when looking at all computers, but you cannot show Display Adaptor. Working in the video games industry, this is something which we need to know on a daily basis. Will Display Adaptor ever be an option in the columns? Also, how can I get some PDQ swag? Thanks, Lee.
So Lee is Frogman Small. Okay. Hey Lee, slash Frogman Small. So that you can get information on the Display Adaptor, but you're not going to get it from that all computers, that collection window. Now, keep in mind the collection window generally shows data that has a one-to-one relationship. I will say generally there is an exception to that.
Yeah.
But the reason, if it's in here, there's one OS. You're not going to have 10 and 8.1. There's going to be one, subsequent OS.
It is
OS
possible
version
to have multiple NICs in a computer, and then
he's talking about Display Adaptor.
or Display Adapters. Yeah.
So
sorry.
In this case, we haven't shown that. Now there are some times where we will kind of consolidate. For example, like .NET. You can have multiple versions of .NET. We show them here. Why? There's still a one-to-one relationship. They're still in one record. It's just delimited by commas. We've made a special exception for that. You can still get this information, though. You just won't get it from the collection window. You can get it from reports. You can get it at the computer level. You can go to hardware. And under hardware, you'll see display adapters right there. There's always make sure you're showing the information you want. Maybe in this case, we're hiding the driver signer. Maybe you want that. But hopefully this will get you what you want. Now, this is a VMware machine, but the display adapter is under hardware, so when you're building your report, you can do hardware. And if you need additional information besides the make and the model and the driver version of your display adapters, then you can probably do WMI.
Yeah, I was going to say WMI. Pull that information.
Just show this real quick. I'm going to just kind of running this on the spot here. We'll just do display. I think it's controller, but add. We're going to go down to WMI. It's behind Lex there. We'll give it a name of a display. We'll just make this fast display. Launch WMI Explorer. Do a double click and see if it's connect.
Yep,
There we go. Then SimV2 is probably where it is. I could be wrong on this, but let's just look at
hardware,
display.
maybe?
I'm going to do display. Display configuration, display controller configuration. So we'll double click on that. And we'll see, here's the display controller information. I seem to recall looking at this a while back, and it reported everything is 1024 by 60. So I don't have believability in WMI there, but you could basically just grab that. I'm going to highlight that right here and hit copy, because we'll execute this query. Basically select star from Win through to display controller configuration, say OK, scan those computers. You might be able to get more information in WMI for that. But the hardware should most likely give you what you want. Not going to see it there because you're going to, especially if you're in a lot of gaming systems, you can have multiple display adapters, and that loop breaks that one-to-one relationship requirement for that window.
PDQ software, is there a way to get more accurate uptime information? Seems Windows 10 computers with fast boot enabled don't reset that value when shut down. Thanks, Jim B.
Yeah, we are aware of that. Do you have anything you want to add? Are there workarounds you know of, Jordan?
So
See the
all
agent,
we can pull is what the computer's telling us that I can think of. So if the computer doesn't update, I'm not sure off the top of my head what else you could try on to get that, what you're looking for.
You could look at if you have the agent, then you could look at the events of the agent, because when that should show up as a new boot up event, even if it's fast boot enabled, which Windows 10 is. So if you have the agent, then that should resolve that issue. But yeah, we are aware of that. And if anybody out there has any information on that, maybe there's some information in the registry you can grab. Remember, you can grab registry information, WMI information. Sometimes you just need to do that because we don't have that information natively.
Dear Shane and Lex, one more because this is driving me batty right now. Without logging into each computer and running Fixit, is there a way to fix uninstall error 1612? Installation source for this product is not available. Thanks, Tiffany G.
Hi, Tiffany. Okay, so boy, it seems to be you're getting this one less and less. But okay, so if the problem already exists, then most likely in the registry for that application, there's going to be a value, most likely a string value, that's like called installation source or something. You might need to run a package, create a package that just modifies that value and replaces it with like a UNC to the path where that installation resides. That's what I've done in the past on those few applications that have lost the installation source. And you're like, damn, I need to get this, but I know I've got this installation out on this UNC path. Just do that. You can usually find the installation source. If you have applications that do have that problem where I'm going to build a package and deploy it, but it's going to, we delete the installation files after the installation is complete. If you know of an application, one that comes to mind right now is TechSmith's Snagit. Guess what? You're going to have to, in the package that you build, let's do a custom one, bro. In the package that you build, go over here into options. This is on an install step, and click installation requires source. And what that does is when it copies the installation files down to each target, it places them in kind of a special area and it doesn't get deleted. And that way, if there is an installation source that's recorded, it's there if you ever need to uninstall or make changes to prevent that error. So this is how you can kind of prevent it if you're using deploy, is to use the installation require source. Otherwise, you're going to have to do some digging, find out what that value is, get the correct installation out there on a UNC path, and replace that using a registry step in a package.
And our final question of the day from Ben S. Will inventory ever be able to report multiple IP addresses with the agent? Helpful for VPN situations when the agent reports the adapter's home network IP when in fact they have a VPN address that's not reported. Or a way to pull the IP associated with a specific DNS suffix to filter out home addresses?
Hi, Ben. It's a discussion we've been having. Now, no decision has been made. I was on vacation for a little while when I got back, and I read this ticket that must have been built by Rubik, and I was going through it. Basically came down to external agents showing internal IP addresses for the hotel or the home, wherever that agent was. My suggestion, I don't know what we're going to do, but I'll just say that my suggestion is, if it's an external agent, don't show the IP address, because it's either going to be the IP address of the public one for your for the ISP, or it's going to show some internal some internal IP address that doesn't mean, neither of those mean anything. If you're talking about an external IP address, or when I say external, an agent that's in external mode, that IP address is inconsequential to us. Everything is a pull mode. That agent contacts us. We don't go out and contact that. I'm all for just hiding it, personally. So that's a discussion that we're having. We are aware of the issue, and we'll see who wins the arm wrestle on that one over here. All right, hey, good questions. Thank you very much. So we got stumped. And some really, really, really good questions. I can't even stress that enough. Thank you very much, everybody. Keep a lot of agent questions, obviously. Keep on rocking with the agent and report to us, please. Dominic, get it out to us.
Yep.
Someone get Lee some swag, will you?
Yeah. Thanks for
All right,
watching,
everybody. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. Big congrats going to Carrie O and Ben S., winners of PDQ swag. Send us your information at webcast@pdq.com. And if you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to our support folks and our forums. That's why we have those. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you back here next week.